Hello, my lovely class. Welcome back to StudyWave Academy, where education is without limits. Welcome back to the last part of our English class of today, and our main topic for today was on speech work. So welcome to our last class, where I'll just give you an overview of what we've learned about. So we started with what speech work is and understanding what speech work is. Then we looked at the various elements to understanding the speech, okay? After that, we looked at the monophthongs. I gave you the meaning of the monophthongs and even examples, and went further to give you examples in sentences that will help you understand better. After that, we looked at idioms, okay? I looked at idioms, what they are, and gave you various examples and their meanings. And I gave an example, its meaning, and also relatively in a sentence to help you understand better and deeper. Then from the idioms, I went to look at what we call vocabulary development. So I talked about this vocabulary development. I talked about how to develop this vocabulary of ours and even given you ways to develop your vocabulary. So now I will move to our main focus for today, and that is essay writing. So this will be what we are learning the last part of this class, essay writing. So we've learned about idioms, we've learned about vocabularies. So now we're looking at essay writing. And the first thing we'll talk about is, what is an essay? It's important to always know, we should not assume that everyone knows what an essay is. And even if you know, sometimes you don't know everything, okay? So the main thing is to understand what an essay is and just remind ourselves if we know what, just remind ourselves and keep learning, okay? So we look at essay. So essay is a common form of academic and creative writing that involves presenting a coherent and well-structured piece of prose on a specific topic or subject. Essays can vary in length and complexity, and they serve as a means of individuals to express their thoughts, arguments, ideas, or opinions in a clear and organized manner. Essay writing is a very, very fundamental skill in education. So essay is a very, very important skill in education, and it is used in various contexts, including school assignments, standardized tests, college applications, and professional communication. Now, essay writing is just a common form of academic creative writing, where you're given a specific topic to write about or an essay about something. And even in your school, you're given assignments to write essays, right? Even in your tests, you have tests where you're supposed to write essays. And as you continue graduating, when you reach college and the university level, you'll be asked to write college applications. When you're applying to colleges, you'll be asked to write essays, and you'll have to write essays in order for you to join these colleges, okay? Even after finishing work, you'll be also, some work will require you to write this essay. So this is what you're going to be learning about. So essay is just this creative writing, okay? It's a creative writing. So the first thing I look at under essay is key components in essay writing. So what are the key factors to consider when writing an essay? And the first one is the thesis statement. So far in my teaching, we've come across this thesis statement several times and a couple of times. And I bet that now you know what a thesis statement is. So every essay typically begins with a thesis statement, which is a clear, concise and arguable sentence that states the main point or argument of the essay. It serves as a guide for the entire essay. Like I said, a thesis statement is just a statement or a sentence or a part of a sentence that tells us how the essay will be or what will be talked about in the essay. So it gives us an overview of everything that will be shared in the essay, okay? So that is what we call a thesis statement. So an essay must have that. It must tell us it must give us a brief introduction to what you're going to be talking about. So thesis statement will include, it will just state the main point or the main idea of what you're going to talk about and some points that you look at. So that is what a thesis statement is. And that is a key component in essay writing. Every essay must have a thesis statement. Then from the thesis statement is the introduction. Now, the introduction provides a background information and context and sets the stage for the essay. It should also include the thesis statement. Now, most of the people, some people will choose to start with the thesis statement and then follow with the introduction, or the introduction, that the thesis statement comes in the last sentences of the introduction. So in your introduction, you can choose the thesis statement to become the first line there, or the first part of the introduction, or you can choose for it to end the first paragraph of the introduction, okay? So just a short statement that gives us the overview of what the essay will be talking about. So you can choose for it to where to be. So it's always found in the introduction. It can be in the first sentence of the introduction or ending the introduction. So it's you to choose how you want your thesis statement to be. Then we have the body paragraph. So even I feel like most of the things I'm talking about now I've already covered in other topics and we talked about them in length, but I won't mind repeating and redoing and learning about them again. So with the body, it contains several paragraphs, each presenting a different aspect or topic or supporting the thesis. So each paragraph should focus on a single point or idea and include evidence, examples, or arguments to support it. So if you're talking about effects of pollution or pollution in general, air pollution, but let's be specific, environmental pollution. When you're talking about pollution, in your body, you'll make sure that every paragraph has its own points. So if you're talking about causes of pollution, you'll give points, like 5 paragraphs will have points of causes, then the next following 5 will have the effects, and then the next 5 will maybe have the how to deal or how to control or how to conserve the environment. So every point or every idea should be written in its own paragraph, okay? So that is the body or the paragraph. And we have several paragraphs here, and that is the main weight or the main idea of the essay, where the main ideas fall and what you want to argue about. So that is the body and paragraph. Then from that, from the body and paragraph, we have transition. So like I said earlier, transition are just words or phrases that connect ideas and paragraphs, making it easy to flow smoothly. So for example, from one paragraph you start like, first I'd like to talk about this and this, second, however, in addition, therefore. So such words like just tell us how you're flowing. They help us to also flow with what you're telling us, okay? So these are called transition words. They help us to connect ideas. So from one idea we can connect to another by the help of these transition words. They help us flow smoothly as we continue transitioning from one word to another or from one idea to another, okay? Then after the transition words, we look at something we call conclusion. So your essay must have a conclusion, okay? Your essay must have a conclusion. You can't just end it from anywhere or just end it from a point. A conclusion just gives a summary of the main point. So you just conclude, like in conclusion, we should all fight to conserve the environment, such things. Like your essay must have a conclusion where it just gives us a summary of all the points you've talked about, or even the thesis, or reinstates the thesis statement. And then it may also offer a broader perspective or suggest implications or just suggest anything. So you can say, in conclusion, I'd like to call everyone to attention and we try to solve the problem on maybe environment by doing this, this, and this. So you're just trying to end your points in a very, very specific way, okay? Then we have citation and referencing. So this might not apply here, but I'm just mentioning it in our topic here. But you see, when you do research, or maybe when you're searching about something, when you want to include something in your writing, but you don't know it clearly, so you use use citations. And citations are simply external sources references. So if you copied something from somewhere or you got an information from a certain source, you have to tell someone, you have to tell us where you got the source from. So you find that most essays down there, you'll find a reference list. And I know maybe in your books or some things you've read, you've seen reference. So those are just important properly sites or sites that help to know where you've gotten your work from, okay? To avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism means to copy. So maybe when you searched the meaning of environment in online, okay? You search it online and you find it and you include it in your writing, you have to cite it. You have to use, maybe you'll know this format, so I won't go deep into this, but that, just know there's something like that. Then revision and proofreading. It's very, very important to, after writing everything down, you go through it, you just revise your work to just clear any grammatical errors. When anywhere you didn't put punctuations, you just put, or just make sure everything is okay. Then lastly is style and tone. The style and tone of an essay can vary depending on the purpose and the audience, okay? Whether it's formal or informal or persuasive. So we need to know if it's a persuasive essay by reading it. If it's formal, informal, analytical, or descriptive, we need to know this. So it's very, very important your essay is clear on what type it is, okay? So now I look at the forms of essay writing. And I will not go deep into this because we've discussed it. So I'll just brush over it. And one is narrative essays. And I'll just increase this to help us see it better. One is the narrative essays. These tell story and describe personal experience. So when you talk about maybe some journey you went to, you write a narrative essay. And then we have descriptive essay, which provide details about a subject, place, or event. You're describing maybe your favorite animal or your favorite subject, so you will write a descriptive essay. Then we have expository essays that explain or inform by presenting facts, okay? Maybe expository essay on climate change, okay? So those are called expository essays. Then we have persuasive essays. Now with persuasive essays just convince readers to adopt a particular viewpoint. So maybe you're writing why boarding schools are better than day schools. You write a persuasive essay. You're trying to tell us which one is way important than the other. Then lastly, we have argumentative essays. These essays just, like persuasive essays, they present an argument and a counter argument on the topic. So there's an argument and a counter argument on the topic, okay? So they're called the argumentative essays. Then just to measure on this, I'll just say that effective essay writing requires a very critical thinking, research skill, and the ability to structure ideas coherently. It is a very, very valuable skill, or a valuable skill in academia and beyond, or academics, okay? It allows individuals to communicate their thoughts and convey information in a clear and organized manner. So writing requires you to think critically, and this is a skill that requires you to do research, okay, to structure your ideas properly and just know how to express well your ideas, okay? So that is all about the essay writing. So before I end my class again, I have a simple activity for us here. Simple 15 questions here, just 15 questions, very, very simple. So how I love my students doing the work is that read the question, then try answer it without searching anywhere. So for example, you asked, what is speech work and why is it important in effective communication? This is a free topic or a free activity. What do I mean by free? I mean that it allows you to pour out your points, your ideas. So I didn't put like choices. It's not a choice question like A, B, C, so choose which one is right. No, I expect you to tell me what you think. So I want to see how you've understood it. So write down what you think speech work is and what you've learned and what you understood from it, and just explain it, okay? Explain the significance of non-verbal communication in speech work. I've talked about that. How can anyone overcome nervousness and anxiety when speaking publicly? This is an open question. How can anyone overcome it? So try answer it and just give your points on how you feel someone can overcome nervousness, okay? So they're just simple 15 questions that are very, very easy. They are wide. They cover everything we've talked about today in this entire lesson. Describe the main components of an essay and their purpose. We've talked about this, so there's nothing new here. The role of pronunciation and articulation in speech work, I've talked about this. So there's nothing new. I expect you to do it and just feel free to air out your views and write it down. So as we end our lesson, I'm very happy we've reached this milestone, and I expect you to keep practicing and work on your vocabulary. Use these idioms and vocabularies to write and speak and just better yourself. So thank you for today. Bye.